Hello, good afternoon, and welcome yet again to an edition of Unfiltered Conversation on Cleveland TV. Cleveland TV in Diaspora is an online platform created to bring together you Africans back home and those in diaspora to celebrate and appreciate your successes, achievements, and lots more. It is very important that you sign up with us today on www.cleveland.com. Thank you. I remain your host, Frank Ali Davidia, and this afternoon we'll be discussing FESTAC Arusha. My guest this afternoon is Ms. Rose Sally. Ms. Rose Sally is the founder and CEO of Sally Publishing House. Madam, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and happy International Women's Day to you.
Yeah, same here, ma'am. All right, we'll start with this. Let's get to know who Rose Sally is. Could you please introduce yourself?
Rose Sally is of Kenyan descent, but I like to think I'm more of an African because I've lived over the continent, worked, met people, and currently I am the CEO of Sally Publishing House, and our authors are from all across the continent as well as in the diaspora.
All right, so we're discussing FESTAC Arusha. You know, the first time I heard that word, I was like, we know of FESTAC, which is the Festival of Art and Culture, and we've had experiences of it right here in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. So when I heard Arusha added to the name, I was a bit confused till I had to make research, and I was like, wow, okay, this is what it's all about. But to our audience out there that will not have the time to go into research and all that, why FESTAC Arusha? What is the story behind that?
I believe Tanzania is really key in terms of the support for all the groups that fought for liberation, more specifically towards the end of the whole African experience, Namibia, South Africa to a very large extent, as well as Zimbabwe. And basically, I think they deserve the honor of hosting it as we restart FESTAC after a 45-year hiatus. And with Zanzibar starting last year, I think Arusha was the perfect place to really have it as the hub for this restart.
All right, so which means Arusha is actually a destination.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And it has so much to offer. And when you say Arusha, being at the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, that makes it easy for anyone, anywhere in the world to almost place it on the map.
Is that right? But I know you said one or two things about my next question, but I still want you to elaborate more on it. Why the cross-country hosting? Is it much more profitable to the host country, or is there any other reason behind the cross-country hosting?
I think it's important that we bring, the founders, the forefathers of this festival had the idea of uniting the peoples. And therefore, I think it's important, one, that we bring people up from across Africa and the diaspora to one place, create that platform for networking, for business alliances, but also give them the experience of Africa. As we are saying, it's Experience Africa in 7 days. And I believe that Arusha at this point in time is probably one of the greatest platforms where you can experience that, with everything that people will bring together, but more so because it's a great tourist destination. When people come, despite everything that we have created, they can also go and visit climb Mount Kilimanjaro for those who are brave and have had the training. You can go to the Serengeti. It will be at the start of the season. There's a wild beast, experience that is really world renowned now. There's also Ngorongoro Crater, and so much that is cultural in one place. And also, it's a very central destination in terms of its proximity within East Africa, easy access from Kenya, Uganda, as well as Malawi, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Burundi. So it's very central and most of the African airlines flying in and out of whether it's Jerusalem or Arusha, that makes it a real great hub again to restart FESTAC.
Right. As someone in the media industry, because of your presentation, you're a publisher, so obviously you're into media. I don't know, what is the relationship, the link between a media person and culture?
I think the purpose of media is to really bring out the best in our culture, in our experiences, in our thinking. And in that sense, publishing our stories by Africans in a way that traditionally we told our stories, with a lot of example, with a lot of drama, that being the flavor, the essence of writing, and to take that not just from print media to the oral storytelling, but also to the publication of books, but also to realize that these stories are not just literature from an academic standpoint, but it is our everyday. It is what is reported in the media. It's what our government agencies, our private enterprises as well, can spin and share, even as you do policy, that can be put in a way that people understand and own, and that then creates the relationship between what would ordinarily be the literally space and everyday, and our entities as well as government and private agencies.
Zara, for a non-African person that are not conversant with the art and culture of Africa, most of the things we see here and call our culture might seem alien to them. But now, if you are explaining to somebody that is not an African, what are those things that constitute African culture that you can use to draw them and understand your point of view?
Well, wow, that's a whole list, because I can tell you from music to the culinary experience, our foods, which are exotic with the spices and the local fresh vegetables, and and also the way we cook, from the pots to the more conventional pans, as well as the style of serving and how we sit together and eat. That in itself is an experience. And then when you think of African fabrics, as well as the way we design our clothing, and now it's been elevated because we also have professional fashion designers. We have the creative fashion designers, and then comes to music, and then there's our art, whether it's drawing, whether it's painting, from pencil sketches, black and white to color, portraits to landscapes. There is so much wealth and dynamism and depth to everything we do, and I can tell you, I just came back from Arusha yesterday. I'm currently in Nairobi. And as we drove around, just talking to artists and just, going out to eat in different places, everything is art and culture. It really is a rich experience. And the beauty of it is we're not just saying it so because it's ours, but if you look at the number of tourists that visit Africa every year and the repeat tourists, we definitely can say, as a matter of fact, that we do have a very rich culture to share with the rest of the world.
All right. I went through your write-up and I saw some things there, preserving African culture in an eco-friendly way. Could you please explain that concept?
One of the things that I think really came to the fore, especially during the COVID period, is that we need to go back to what is indigenous to Africa. Everything from the herbs to the way we build our houses, the bamboos, the windows are done in a way that it draws the fresh air, which is a cry from your aircon, for instance. Okay. The height of ceilings, and something that I learned quite a while back when I had my babies, to have the bed very, very low and not the usual baby cot that are so much higher. And there's a reason for it when you think in terms of gravity. So our people have an understanding of nature that probably we are not taught in the normal academic sense, And when you look at now the conservation of rivers, the art, so that walls are not just white in the houses, colors, which professionals are now beginning to understand why we did not have white walls in African homesteads, you know, and it was thought that, oh, having white makes it a cleaner environment, but we're realizing that having that rich red color, for instance, the ochre that we have, you know, and the deeper primary colors has something that soothes the spirit. So all of that goes to an ecosystem that we already have, but diverted from, and we are now going back to and thinking that it's coming from a different world, but essentially it was part of our culture.
That's all right. No, women. How do I put this now? I don't know if I'm wrong here, but today is International Women's Day, so I like to let's concentrate on the women here. Now,
Yes.
is there any role or particular roles of the women folk in preserving and then taking ahead the culture of Africa? Do we have any particular role to play?
Oh wow, my dear, I think not only do they have a role, but they are the drivers of the conservation, preservation of African culture. They are the greater storytellers because they're talking to children, they're sharing with each other all the time. And most of the time, even talking to children, teaching them, disciplining them is through storytelling, is through proverbs, you know, and then the cooking, like we mentioned, the culinary, all that is a sphere of women. And when you look at Africa's agriculture, it is basically to predominantly done by women. You know, the plaiting of our hair, for instance, you know, the taking care of the person, the looking after a new mother, you know, the weddings, the traditional aspect of the entire wedding process, the coming of age. Most of those traditions within our culture are conserved and driven and taught about and shared by the women.
But most people will believe that we are gradually losing our culture because now you see even the present generation, they are much more interested in foreign products, foreign things like what you just mentioned, foreign hair, foreign clothes, foreign, in fact, everything foreign to them is much more appealing. What should we as parents in this generation do to let the children start having interest in the culture of Africa?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. I don't even blame the youth for doing that, because when you think about it, what is it that they're seeing? They're seeing Western culture, they're seeing Western, you know, media at the forefront, you know, Western fashion. So what we should do is replace that, also come to the fore as much as Western culture is there. If we are showing them and sharing in a beautiful way our dressing, our food, our storytelling, and we need to demystify the myth that Africans don't read, they do read. I have found that out. Sally Publishing has published over 100 titles now, and our books don't sit. None of our authors are saying, oh, nobody's buying my books, you know. So we have the capacity, we have the platforms. In the same way, we need to be intentional about bringing that culture, our culture, you know, our traditions, the beauty of it. And instead of complaining like we do a lot of the times, is to positively bring that, you know. But I, having lived in the US for about 23 years, I realized that the African children born in the diaspora have a greater appreciation of what is African, you know. For instance, we tease my daughters who are American by virtue of birth, that they are more African than some of their cousins who have not left the continent, because we tend to look at what's on the other side of the fence and think it's greener, you know.
The answer always looks greener on the underside.
So the ones in the diaspora really thirst for things of home, and the ones over here think that the things over there are more palatable, and therefore that's what they pursue. So in answer to your question, we have a job to do. FESTAC is one way, in a big way, that's going to contribute to creating that African experience to make our young people and the older realize that we really have a lot that is absolutely beautiful to share within the continent and also with those in the diaspora, including the non-Africans.
So how effective do you think this promotion can be?
Pardon me, say that again?
How effective do you think this promotion and what you've done so far to make Africans value their culture, how effective do you think that has been or that can be?
I think looking at what was done in Zanzibar last year and the energy and the excitement and the interest that we're already seeing with Arusha, FESTAC Arusha, I have no doubt that we are going to definitely chip at the iceberg. And because we are committed to doing this year after year after year, it's small steps, it's early, but even to get to the top of the mountain, you got to start with the sure steps going up. So we will get there. And we're excited that at least we've already started with Zanzibar last year and definitely with Arusha as the FESTAC destination this year.
Yes, it's all right. We'll take a short break here, and when we'll come back, we'll be discussing the effect of climate change on culture.
Thank you.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
Welcome back, and you're still with Cleveland TV in Diaspora. And if you've not done so already, I'm encouraging you to sign up with us now on www.cleveland.com. Thank you. Before we go on the short break, we discuss culture as it affects Africa as a whole. And my next question for you, Liz, is going through your write-up, I saw that climate change can have effects on the culture of people. I don't really know how true that is. So what is the effect of climate change on the African culture?
It's almost scary what has happened with climate change. Mm-hmm. I drove up yesterday from Arusha to Nairobi, which is about just under 300 kilometers. And there's so many rivers that used to be full of water. And I realized that some of them have little streams of water, but for most part, most of them are actually dry. Now, if you look, you would see a lot of people with their goats, their sheep, literally just off the tarmac. And they're walking miles, looking for water, and also the greener shrubs. This means that, one, people are taking longer to do what would have been daily chores. It means that women have to walk further to get the water, which takes away from family time in terms of ability to cook. It also means that getting together for functions that would really build up their culture, spend time together, that is reduced because now more time is needed to go fetch water, to go look for firewood. and also just so much being lost because of climate change. However, having said that, I think we need to come to the realization of how grave the situation is and then become intentional about what we can do. Because I believe, one, we have the largest concentration of freshwater lakes in the world. We have major rivers, we have the Nile, we have the Zambezi, we have the Lake Tana. So we can dam those rivers, even if it's at certain points. We have, for instance, the dam that they've done in Ethiopia on the Nile. So we have the capacity, and I remember a long time ago in Eastern Province in Kenya, when they dammed the Kindaruma, they built the Kindaruma dam, the ecosystem totally changed. Crops that ordinarily you couldn't plant were now simply growing. So rather than just sit and be worried about the negative effects of climate change, it's a situation where we should look at what, in fact, we have going for us and build up on that. And I believe we can. I believe we can. We have some of the top professors, engineers, experts, either teaching in universities abroad or teaching in our local universities, but their thesis could be converted to the wisdom that we need to make a turnaround in terms of climate change. In fact, the other thing is that it has then depleted food resources. And that in itself becomes a challenge. I know in Kenya, it's in the media all the time, the different nomadic tribes that herd cattle and sheep and goats, they're constantly fighting. It's a big security problem now. And again,
and also in Nigeria. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a water resource. We need to manage those, because then we can reduce the conflict among the local peoples.
So in other words, does it really have any impact on the culture of the people in that regard?
Sorry, I didn't catch the first part you said.
Yeah. Does that really have an effect on our culture as Africans?
Absolutely. I mean, our culture, tradition is who we are. It's not an academic subject. It's not something separate from us. Everything that happens in our lives is part of our culture, because we respond as a people.
That's all right. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question, which is harnessing the talents or thriving talents in Africa for FESTAC Arusha. Now, we are well aware that there are talents that exist even in the grassroots, people that cannot get access to this kind of event and all that. So what are you doing to make sure that when you are selecting thriving talents, these people are not left out in that regard?
One of the things that you've said that is so right is there is so much talent in almost every sphere of life, almost every aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah, so bringing this festival to the people gives them the opportunity to showcase that talent, whether it's displaying your art, displaying your music, the performances, and a lot of this will not have a cost to it, So, and the other major part of FESTAC is networking. There are a lot of there are a lot of artists, a lot of musicians who have been discovered, but it's one in thousands, because it's an off chance. However, you bring people to a festival like this, there will be people looking to work with the artists, there'll be artists themselves. So this is a platform where you're showcasing your art, your music, your culinary skill, your fashion design skills, and there'll be everybody from around the world who will scout and see you, and hopefully we are hoping that there will be partnerships drawn out of that, so that in the next FESTAC festival, we want to hear those stories of success, of partnerships, of collaborations, because this is mainly what it is all about.
You actually explained my next question, but I still want to bring it in as a question, so that there are some people that will not even have time to actually go through your explanation. But when it's set as a question, it's much more easier for them to understand. So I will need you to come in a different direction. It might be what you've already said already, which is the agenda and advantages of being part of FESTAC Arusha 2023.
One of the greatest benefits of being there is experiencing Africa, is realizing how much potential there actually is. Secondly, it's meeting like-minded people. You may have a story to tell, but you don't have an editor, you don't have a publisher, and you come there and you meet Sally Publishing. You may be an artist who has drawn in color or doing pencil sketches. There may be someone there who has been looking for exactly what you're able to showcase. We're going to have sports, basketball, soccer. There may be someone, an entity that's looking for that talent in sports, and now it will have been brought together, and even for investors to see the opportunities there are, and for some just to make friends, to know I have friends in Senegal, in Ghana, in Malawi, in Mozambique, in South Africa, in Kenya. That, especially in the African context, friendships are really, really valued, and then we'll have conversations. There are a lot of things in Africa, from business to culture, that we need to bring to the fore. And I'm hoping by being there that I'll also be able to encourage people to write their stories, because it's part of our heritage. And if we, in fact, my thinking is that writing our stories is not just recreational, it really is a responsibility. Because if FESTAC in 1977 had not been captured, we wouldn't even have anything to go by. Yeah, so
all right. Now, who is eligible to participate in Arusha, FESTAC Arusha 2023? Is it just for the elites, or can those that are not of higher background be part of the program? Or is it those in diaspora? So who are eligible to be part of the event?
Oh, so sorry, my dear, you broke up. I didn't catch the question. So sorry.
Oh, there's no problem. I just asked, I said, who is or who are eligible to be part of FESTAC Arusha 2023?
Everyone. The Africans, the non-Africans, anyone that is on the planet at this point. If you're African, come showcase yourself or come meet other Africans. Let's see what everyone is about. For the non-Africans, come experience Africa, all of it in 7 days. But also for the Africans, and this is key, a lot of us go on vacation, we go on trips to other places in the world, but we really have not experienced Africa. And this gives us that platform to really see what's going on in the rest of the continent.
So how do one become part of it?
You become a part of the website, registering. If you have any questions, you place them there. There are also chat groups for almost every, and that gives you all the information. But we are here and we will share all information, and there's constantly being, there's social media going on all the time, because we want people to be informed, be aware, and feel welcome to FESTAC Arusha Festival.
All right, so as a wrap up, I just want to come in there, the venue, date, and the time of the events. Hello, ma'am. Did you get that question? All right, so I said as a wrap, I just wanted to talk on the venue, the date, and the time of the events.
The dates are the 21st May through the 27th. We're urging people, if you can come, the venue, most of the activities are going to be at the Arusha International Conference Center. It's right in the heart of Arusha. You cannot miss it. And the beauty of it in Arusha, you ask anybody, they will guide you. They'll not only just point it out, chances are they'll walk you to it. And again, we are there. We are on social media, and any questions we'll be happy to answer and give the guidance.
Thank you so much, Madam Rose Sally, for all you are doing for Africa and beyond, and for helping to teach our children in diaspora that Africans is actually their roots and their homes. We hope every family, every mother starts doing the same, and they start teaching our children what it takes to be a real Africa. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Recording here for today, and like I said, and I always continue to say, keep signing up on www.clevenup.com. Till next week, when we'll come your way with another guest on this program, I remain Frank Kalidemundia. To have a blessed day.